one of the most recognizable call-outs in metal. I would gamble to say it's at least the top 10 dog-related noises in music for sure.
Definitely excited that it did what it did, you know? Like, people always ask us if we're, like, sick of the memes, and it's like, why would we be? That's just...
Suffocate with Poppy. How did that collab come together?
She reached out to me, which was, like, a huge surprise. I was a fan already. Just got a DM from her that was like...
Yeah, I love that there's, like, so many surprising artists that are Not to Lose fans, you know? But then, like, I saw a video of, like, Billie Eilish is, like, side stage watching you guys.
I get off stage, and everybody's like, Billie Eilish was watching you, Billie Eilish.
You stopped another band from beating the shit out of each other over hot dogs.
One of the people in the back is like, yo, pass me the buns. The guy cooking the hot dogs, like, something like snapped on him.
Demi Lovato wants to collab with you guys.
It's just exciting to be on that radar, you know?
Yeah, because I think, like, the fear of a fan is, like, especially like a fan that's been with the band from the beginning, is that once a band gets bigger and bigger and crosses over to the more of the mainstream, they're going to change their sound. Like, oh no, Bryan might start singing.
I think that Not Loose is in an interesting position where all these people are paying attention to us being like an extreme band that's getting mainstream opportunities. So if anything, it makes us kind of want to just like lean into it.
Hey, it's me, Jesse Lee, and thanks for clicking on this episode of The Jesse Lee Show. Sorry if I look a little disheveled, more so than usual. You know, it's early here, and I'm getting ready to take my kid to school and then hit the gym. You know, so I'm not gonna get all gussied up before the gym, but afterwards, you know, I'll trim. I'll get looking good. But right now, you got me in my raw, natural form because I had to get on here real quick to let you know about today's episode with Bryan Garris, frontman for the band Not to Lose. One of, if not the most exciting bands happening in metal and hardcore right now. Their new album, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To, has just been charting like crazy, getting a ton of accolades. Celebrities love it. It even charted higher than Taylor Swift for a couple weeks. Like, no shade against Taylor Swift. I'm not trying to tear anyone down, but it is impressive that a hardcore band was charting higher than one of the biggest pop artists in the world. And you can even buy the vinyl in some Target locations. You know, it's probably sitting on a shelf somewhere next to the scented candles if you're lucky enough to find one. When I talked to Bryan in the episode, they were currently on their headlining tour, but that's wrapped up since, and now they're getting ready to hit the road with Slipknot. So that's going to give a whole nother group of fans a chance to do the ARF live, which if you haven't seen it, if you're not familiar with it, we talk about in the episode, but Not Loose has created one of the most iconic metal callouts in their song Counting Worms. There's a little pause and he just goes, ARF. Sounds silly if you've never seen it, but trust me, go watch a YouTube video of them doing it live when you're done watching this. And it's insane to see the reaction the crowd or the reaction the band gets every time they do it live. Do me a favor, it takes you like 2 seconds wherever you're listening, watching, consuming right now. Please hit the follow or subscribe button so you get notified the next time I drop a banger of an episode like this. And please do snap a screenshot and share it on your social media. Tag me at Jesse Lee, TikTok and Instagram at Jesse Lee Show on X, and tag Not Loose, and we'll all share it around. All right, let's get into it. Hey, I don't know if you remember, we actually met briefly. I interviewed you guys at the When We Were Young festival about 2 years ago. I was covering for Hot Topic.
Yeah, I remember that actually. As soon as we connected, I was like, oh, I've done this before.
I know, man. Throwback.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Dude, well, thanks for taking the time, man. I know tour is busy as hell. I know it's kind of crazy on being on the road. Have there been any highlights so far on this run?
Yeah, Los Angeles was definitely a big highlight. That felt like a really, really big moment for the band, you know. And then, honestly, last night in Toronto might go as one of my favorite shows on the tour.
Oh, wow.
Salt Lake City really surprised me. That show was insane. It's been great. It's been just like nonstop.
The crowd was just pretty wild last night.
Yeah, last night was crazy. It was like a brand new venue, and the way that it was set up just allowed for a lot of room for people to like participate, and it just led to like such a crazy show to the point where I was on stage like, this is chaos.
So much room for activities.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw you guys have been like hiding tickets before shows, like in different cities, like right before you play, and posting on Instagram for people to find them. So, like, have people been able to find them and come to the shows?
Yeah, I think every single day they're found. Sometimes
Nice.
people are like expecting it, so they'll like hide out and wait until they see our photographer walking around because they know that he's going to hide it. So sometimes people cheat, but for the most part, they're found every day.
Yeah, it's got to be tricky because you want to make it hard enough where they're actually hidden, but not too hard that people like don't find them at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I gotta pump out my shirt here. So I figured, you're not supposed to wear the band shirt to the show, so I want to try wearing the band shirt to the interview. See how this goes.
Yeah, and that's an old one too.
You rile up the comments. Yeah, oh yeah. It's a website exclusive, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, dude, congrats on the new album. You won't go before you're supposed to. What an unbelievable run you guys have had so far. I mean, obviously it's far from over, but just an unbelievable run. You might be the only hardcore band to have a vinyl in freaking Target, man. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been insane so far. It's been just like trying to make sure that we're like taking a step back and like taking it all in as it's happening, like trying to enjoy the moment. It's just been so like go, go, go. And it's been amazing. Definitely like more than I ever expected.
Yeah, I tried to go to Target and get one of those vinyls, and it's actually sold out in like all the locations around me, which is great for you guys. It's not great for my photo opportunities, but it's awesome that it's not only in stores but selling as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think every location only got like a small handful because they definitely like probably considered it a gamble to have us in there, but I actually ended up getting one, which was nice. Like the morning that it came out, I woke up and Ubered to a Target, and my cart was like deodorant, my record, a thing of soda, like just like the most random things.
Just the most 2024 purchase experience at Target. I love it. One of the biggest songs on the album is, of course, Suffocate with Poppy. How did that collab come together?
Honestly, like she reached out to me, which was like a huge surprise. I was a fan already and just got a DM from her that was like, "You guys are awesome. We should collab." And our record was done. All the songs were written. And we were like, yeah, we got to do this. So we like wrote one more song. It's like honestly crazy how fast that song came together in the grand scheme of things. Like we were like, oh, Poppy wants to be on the record. Let's just whip together a song. And then it was just like done. And now it's one of my favorite songs we've ever done. And she was super cool to work with. She's super down for anything. Like I was like, we should do a video. We should do this and this and this. And she's just like on board for whatever. So it was definitely like a fun experience.
That's cool too, because that's like a proper collab. Because it's not like you guys had a song with an empty verse or something, and then Poppy just jumped on it. Like you guys actually wrote this with her in mind, which is probably why it sounds so good on top of it, because it was like intentional,
Yeah, definitely. I think that definitely made a difference, and I think that like going forward, we would rather write for features with that in mind, like writing it around what that they can do, rather than in the past we've had the part and we've been like, oh, this would be cool for a spot, and it's always been cool, but like this like really like catered to her personality coming through on the song.
Yeah, there's definitely like songs you can tell from other bands where you can tell the collab was just for the sake of having a collab, essentially. Like it's just the verse just doesn't really make sense to have that person there, or they just like scream on top of the chorus or something. It's like you can tell it's like we just wanted the name on here. It wasn't like we actually wrote this with them or something. They're not in the video or anything, which goes that's even an extra cherry on the top of the cake. Like you were saying that she's in the video too.
Yeah, and the video was like so much fun to make, and I think it turned out so sick. I think honestly, like out of the the ones that we released before the record, I think that's my favorite.
Yeah. Where'd you guys shoot that at?
We shot that in Los Angeles in like Topanga Canyon.
Was it like a real cabin, or was it like a stage setup?
It was a real cabin. It was like this like small grouping of cabins that was like back in the woods, and the goal was to find something that looked like Kentucky, because I like everything aesthetically to kind of look like we're from where we're from. So I was like, we can do it in LA because it's like easier for Poppy, of course, and I was like, but I would like it to still look like we're in the South.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like LA, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that there's like so many surprising artists that are Not to Lose fans, you know? Like you guys were playing Coachella, which first of all, even just a hardcore band playing Coachella is pretty awesome just right off the bat. But then like I saw a video of like Billie Eilish is like side stage watching you guys vibing, like checking out a Not to Lose set. It's so cool, dude.
Yeah, it was wild, especially that one. Like, you know, you didn't know who was going to come over and watch, or who you were going to run into, or who you were going to meet. And I didn't actually know that Billie Eilish was there until we were done. I get off stage and everybody's like, Billie Eilish was watching you, Billie Eilish. So it was cool. It was a really fun weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw too, Demi Lovato wants to collab with you guys. She did an interview with SiriusXM like last year, I think it was, and said that you're like one of her dream collabs right now to hook up with.
I've seen that as well. I haven't heard anything, but I've definitely seen the interview a couple times.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just exciting to be on that radar, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Demi, if you're listening right now, hit Bryan up. Let's do this. I think we got a pretty crazy delay here in the audio. It seems like we're cutting out here a little bit, but let me see if I can change the setting. I don't know. Let's see if that makes it any better. It might make it worse. We'll find out. So, dude, what do you think was the turning point for the band? If you had to pinpoint it, like, because it is super uncommon for a band as heavy as you guys to have like so much love for the mainstream. Like, can you think of like a moment where you like started thinking like, oh shit, like things are changing, things are turning here?
I kind of think it's just like a culmination of things. I think that there's so many like things at play that kind of just like benefits like heavy music in general, you know, and we've just been fortunate enough to be one of the bands to benefit from that. But I think like just like coming back from COVID, everybody just wanted shows so bad. So like,
yeah,
seeing our shows, videos of our shows, I think that mixed with like the moment that like Turnstile is having, and like just like the doors that they were opening for other bands, and Coachella I think had a lot to do with it. Like it's just, I think we've been kind of like climbing for a long time, and then after the pandemic all these things started to just like present themselves to us that we were able to kind of like take that moment and see what it could do for the band, and it's been working so far.
Yeah, it does seem like people in general are just like more open to like heavier music than they ever been. You know, like, even like deathcore is like, I feel like has like been more popular than it's been in a long time. You know, it's just everyone's like really into screaming again. You know, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like it's cool to be like a rock band right now, and I think that it's been cool that we've gotten all these opportunities without sacrificing the extreme side of our band. So like we got to remain heavy and obnoxious, and people are for some reason like latching onto it. So it just kind of like reminds us that like we can do whatever we want, and like we can go crazier and we can go darker, and people are here for it.
Yeah, because I think like the fear of a fan is like, especially like a fan that's been with the band from the beginning, is that once a band gets bigger and bigger and crosses over to the more of the mainstream, they're going to change their sound. Like, oh no, Bryan might start singing on a song or something. People are freaking out, you know. But you don't think that's something to would ever be in your band's future?
No, I think that, well, one, I just can't sing. And two, it's just like, I like music like that. I like plenty of current bands that are doing that, but it's just not what I ever wanted for Knocked Loose, you know? And I think that Knocked Loose is in an interesting position where all these people are paying attention to us being like an extreme band that's getting mainstream opportunities. So if anything, it makes us kind of want to just like lean into it and like see how far we can take it, you know? And I don't think that, I know that we would never be that kind of band.
Yeah, it's almost like you guys had to like fly the flag for like the hardcore scene almost, because like if you guys wavered and changed, then there'd be no hope for anyone else.
Yeah.
You guys gotta keep it going.
Definitely.
When you guys released County Worms, you created like one of the most recognizable call outs in metal. I would gamble to say it's at least the top 10 dog related noises in music for sure. Like if I had to make a list. Where did that come from? Like the thought process when you were recording it? And was there at any point during the recording where you're like, oh, maybe I'll leave this off?
No, so we wrote that song long before we ever recorded it, and it was always just like a fun thing. And I did that strictly as like an ad lib that I thought was cool, and like just didn't think that it would catch on the way that it did. Like I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, yeah, this is the thing. And like I didn't think it was gonna like be that surprising to people. Like people do ad libs, people do like blast, people do O's, like whatever you want to call it. I was like, yeah, this is just that. Like and before we released it, it was always like this weird, like we played it for a long time. And anytime we played it, it was like the scariest moment of the set. It was like this unspoken thing that like videos started going around, people started knowing what it was and seeing it, and it was just like the chirping at the beginning was just like a call to war. Like, and we would hit it out of nowhere, and you would just see people flying off stage, like swinging and like going crazy. And it was straight up the scariest moment of our set. And then from there, we released it, and it just caught on fire, and it became this like massive sing-along opportunity. And it's just like constantly, like for the last however many years, like every couple months a meme of it will go viral, and then whatever. But like we definitely didn't expect it to do what it did. Definitely excited that it did what it did. You know, like people always ask us if we're like bored of playing it or sick of the memes, and it's like, why would we be? That's just putting us in front of new people. You know what I mean? Like, why would we be sick of playing it when the entire crowd sings along? Like, it's like you hear bands talk about like, they hate playing their old stuff or whatever, and it's like, we're gonna keep playing it as long as it gets a reaction, because like those shows where the crowd reacts are fun.
Yeah, those videos, because I even just like the videos from this tour have been so crazy. Seeing when you guys do that part, the way the whole room is just like, oh shit, here it comes. You know, they circle and it goes nutty for like that moment of time. Like it's so how could you get tired of that, right?
Yeah.
I love that there's just this like the empty spot too, and you just did the ARF and then became this like iconic thing. Like I was talking to David Draymond from Disturbed, and he was saying the same thing at the beginning of their song Down to Sickness. It was just an empty spot there when they were jamming it. And one day he was just like, ooh ah, and everyone's like, "What the fuck was that?" And he's like, "I don't know, but trying something," and then it becomes this like huge iconic thing,
Yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah, you don't think like there's been a lot of moments in Knocked Loose's like existence so far where we do things and then it like explodes live, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think
Mm-hmm.
about it like that. Like the ARF for the Knocked Loose motherfucker, like we did that and the crowd immediately latched onto it, and I was like, oh, like I get why they would, but I never thought of it in that context. So it's like
All right.
it's exciting because those are the best things to play live, you know.
They're natural and authentic. So the not loose motherfucker call out that was actually born on stage live before you put it on the record.
No, we did it on the record first, and I just didn't. I was like,
Mm,
I had an idea like, oh, this is gonna go crazy. Like people are gonna love this, but I didn't think that it would be as big of a live moment as it is. You know, like it immediately became like
yeah,
almost as big as the ARF ARF, like when it in terms of reaction.
yeah. Dude, on the new album, I love the track "Take Me Home." It's got that little like almost Twilight Zone riff in the middle of it, which is really cool. Then it ends with that like I don't know, like a ragtime sounding song or something. It's just really cool. Like it's almost like a sleeper track. I feel like not people talk about that song as much as the rest of the songs on the record, but it's got so many like elements to that one. And I was hoping you could elaborate a little bit on that track, like what the writing process was for that one.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you. Second of all, that song was like kind of my idea in a sense of like we kind of had like a checklist of things that we wanted out of this album. And something that I wanted for a long time is
Mm-hmm.
a weird song. Like not going to song, like just like weird, uncomfortable, like just try to make it creepy. And we literally called it
Yeah.
Weird Guy until it found its name. So like when it came time to write it, we knew like we had the checklist of like, okay, we got to write a weird one or whatever eventually, and we weren't really coming up with anything. And then we wrote Moss Covers All, and Moss Covers All has that like Twilight Zone riff before the guitar, which is kind of just like
Mm.
if you look back, inspired by our song Return to Passion. It has like a creepy, we call that the SpongeBob riff, but like a creepy clean guitar before a breakdown. So it's like the same idea, like short, sweet, chaotic with a creepy, clean guitar before a breakdown. But then we wrote it and we were like, man, this is sick. And then like months and months later, we sat down and we were listening to demos, and I think it just like clicked in Isaac's head. He was just like, oh, let's just loop that for 2 minutes. And then we all just
Yeah.
immediately started like, okay, let's loop it and then let's add to it and add to it and add to it. And the original version like added and then took away. So like it started with just the creepy thing and it ended with like bare bones creepiness again. But in the studio when we had like all the auxiliary percussion that you hear was actually recorded by us. It wasn't done like on a computer. And when we had all of the access to all of these things in the studio, it was like, let's not let it die down. Like, let's just build and build and build and like make it feel like you're just like trapped in a room losing your mind. And
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that we got that across because even sometimes when I listen to it, I'm like, this stresses me out.
Right. It's uneasy listening.
Yeah, which I love. I love like I think it's super challenging and super rewarding to be able to like create music that like evokes different emotion other than just like, oh, I'm angry and I want to mosh. Like being able to like tap into like different feelings is like something that I'm always like looking for in music. So like being able to be the one doing that. Like hearing people tell me like, "Take Me Home" feels like a panic attack. I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm sorry, but thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like when I was a kid, I would hear songs for the first time that would like be in a major key, and then in the bridge it would switch to a minor key out of nowhere. And like for whatever reason, that would feel weird to me hearing that. Like it made me feel weird. Like I didn't. It's not that I didn't like it, but that switch, like, oh, that's uncomfortable, but I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then again, it challenges you as a listener.
Definitely.
So, dude, Loudwire dropped this list yesterday. It was 15 things you didn't know about Knocked Loose. So I want to fact check a few of them with you while I have you on here, because I feel like this is a great opportunity. We won't go through all of them, but with some of the highlights here.
I saw the list.
You stopped another band from beating the shit out of each other over hot dogs.
Yeah.
True or false?
That did happen, yeah. Yeah. We were on... I saw this list, but I don't know how much of the story it tells, so forgive me if I'm just telling you a story you've already known.
No, you're good.
But we were on the highway. We were driving behind this band that we're on tour with, and they had like a portable oven that they would like cook on, and they were making hot dogs like while we're going 65 down the highway. And so one of them in the front seat has like the burner and a skillet on his lap, and he's frying up hot dogs and he's passing them around in the van. And they're from New York, so they always got an attitude. And one of the people in the back is like, "Yo, pass me the buns." And he passed them. He's like, "Pass me the ketchup." He passes it and he's like, "Pass me the something." And the guy cooking the hot dogs was like, "Get your own shit." Like something like snapped on him. But we were just so far into the tour that like at this point everybody was on eggshells. So
yeah, it was like a rubber band at that point.
Yeah, and he like lunged at him in the van, and they started getting into it. The burner fell and like rolled or like slid across the floor, and it hit the driver's leg. And the driver, so we're behind them on the highway, and we just see the van start swerving and then pull off the shoulder. Yeah. And we're immediately like, what the fuck? Like, that can't be good. So we pull off. And by the time we stop and we get out, the two that are fighting are like out of the van and they're screaming at each other. We're pulling them off. And then we put one of them in our van for the rest of the drive. We were just like, ride with us so that you all can like be apart for a little bit.
Damn. Dude, that is pretty wild. I mean, I love a good glizzy, but wow, I don't think I've ever come to fisticuffs over it.
Yeah.
I've had some heated exchanges over pizza, probably, but yeah, never hot dogs. Yeah. Speaking of pizza, also on the list, it says you guys got your start in pizza shops, playing at pizzerias.
Yeah, we had like this iconic pizzeria in Louisville, Kentucky called Spinelli's that just did all of the DIY hardcore shows. And that's just like where we went for any show, like whether it be our show or shows that we were just attending. It was the only spot for all ages, straight up like hardcore shows. So that was like a very, very pivotal part in the trajectory of Knocked Loose. And we unfortunately lost it during the pandemic. But I'm glad that we have all the memories that we do there.
Yeah, we had a place like that here in Ohio. I think they closed too, but they were called Euro Gyro, and it was a pizza place that had like hardcore shows and like all ages shows, lots of pop punk and stuff. But now that I think about it, I don't think they even sold gyros. They were called Euro Gyro, but it was a pizza place. But I don't know what the marketing was there. But yeah, no, the same idea. Yeah, it's cool to have like an environment like that, because especially when you're younger, you can't go to bars. Like, how are you supposed to see shows? You know?
Yeah, straight up. What part of Ohio?
So I live in Cleveland, but this place was in Kent, Ohio, which is like a big college town around here.
Okay, I feel like I've heard of it.
You probably have. I mean, I'm sure you guys have played shows with Bravo artists before. They're based around here.
Yeah.
They book a lot of bands around. See, all right, last one for the Fact or Fiction with Knocked Loose. Even though the new album has a cross on it, and like all the imagery for the live shows has like this like cross theme to it, it has nothing to do with religion, correct?
No, I definitely touch base on one song, but overall, I would not say that it does. I think that that's just kind of like used as like a symbol. Sorry.
You're good.
Kind of just like represents like anything towering over you. You know, I think that like religion and especially like religious imagery is something that everybody can kind of relate to, and it's always like this giant like towering presence. So I kind of just like the first time the photo that we use is inspired by a photo by the same photographer that shot the cover of our record. His name is Briscoe Park. And when I first saw Briscoe Park's picture, it's like kind of in the same style. It felt so like isolating and intimidating, and like I just loved it so much that I had to work with him, and I hit him up, and he was down for whatever. He was like, let's do it, whatever. I originally wanted to just use the photo that I saw. We established that photo had already been out for too long, you know, so it's like, look, it'd be better if we started from scratch, which then allowed us to put Briscoe in contact with our graphic artist that we use, and they got together and actually built the entire cross and the photo shoot that they did. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah, all from scratch, which like ended up being so much cooler. And got the first version back, and I was just like, man, like this is exactly what I wanted. And I feel like it really gives that feeling of like, it's like very like isolating, you know?
So the cross that's on the cover is the same cross that you guys are taking with you on tour and shows and stuff, right?
It's not actually. We've had that question a lot. So the cross that is on the cover is still in that exact spot somewhere in Maryland, wherever they built it. And the cross on the stage with us is one that we had built for the tour so that we could control it and change the lighting and change the colors and fade on and off. And because the one that is on the cover is just like a couple like garden lights, like tied together, like so we needed that, but like a little bit more pro.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, something that's not going to fall apart while you're on the road.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love a lot of people have said like I've seen tweets saying like, oh, my mom saw me listen to the Knocked Loose album and thought it was so nice I was finally listening to Christian music because they saw the album cover. So you're being a covert for a lot of metalheads out there.
Yeah, I'm helping them hide their secrets.
Right. Yeah, you're like it's like the old days when they used to hide like Black Sabbath albums and like Lou Reed vinyl covers or something, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, dude, Bryan, it's been so good chatting with you, man. I know you got a busy schedule today. Do you have any more last minute plugs before we get out of here?
You won't go first. Supposed to. I don't know. Check it out.
Hell yeah. Awesome. And you find Knocked Loose Motherfucker on all the socials. Make sure to stream their new album and or buy it. You could spend some money, shell out some dollars and go buy it. Also, the band's on tour right now. You can find them in a city near you. You can find me at Jesse Lee on TikTok and Instagram, at Jesse Lee Show on X. And above all else, please make sure to share this podcast episode with somebody who doesn't suck. All right? Take it easy now, and bye-bye. Yeah!